Vengeance and Wrath is a sophomore full-length album from Gallower, a Polish thrash metal band, a blackened thrash and heavy metal group who are heavily influenced by epic heavy metal, but still have kind of a punkish witching metal vibe to everything they do. And these folks have other pursuits in their past that are thrash metal related, such as Snake's Head, a short-lived project alongside one of the members is a member of Pandemic, a newer kind of speed metal group. This is something much more in, again, the witching metal category, something influenced by early Venom and the speed metal that followed beyond Show No Mercy. Think of Destruction and Sodom on their first records and their earliest work, as well as the early stuff from Bathory and Sabat, Japan. Now, as we've moved along in their discography, they've become a little bit more sophisticated. Their oeuvre has developed more. They've switched out some members, I believe, over time. We're still getting stuff that's heavily influenced by German thrash metal, but maybe ideas that come from groups like Carrion from Switzerland, who are quite heavy for their time in 1986 or so, and Living Death, who are their own kind of morbid thrash metal kind of deal that was very underground for its time. That's how I would characterize this group in general on the kind of face value, but they've developed a lot of traditional heavy metal influences over their first couple of records and a couple of EPs that make it more than just a black thrash metal band, and something, the sort of group who's worth following for their songcraft just as much as their style, which is, there's quite a lot here, as I'll say up front, with the Christopher Wimp cover artwork and the kind of late Middle Ages born story that they're telling here about witches and whatnot. So we'll check in with a song here, get an idea of the sound design and the songcraft at hand here, and we'll get to it after that. So when I reviewed the band's 2022 EP, Eastern Witchcraft, I picked out the song Susanu's Deceit and pointed out that they're quite good at this type of song. It was a heavy metal song, it was catchier, it was shorter, and it definitely had that new wave of British heavy metal verve to it that I like so much, and especially in the context of the later version of the movement that had speed metal intertwined around 84 to 86. That's really where I would place this band's sound and spirit. There are some heavier riffs from all over in the European thrash metal underground of the past, and you'll feel that as you ride through this album. There's definitely kind of a punkish, ready-to-go speed metal vibe to this record as it starts, but it will develop some sophistication over time. They're climbing mountains with some of these songs and presenting big thrash metal pieces, and I think they've developed quite a bit in terms of their drummer and general technique, kicking up more so. A lot of fills on this record compared to the last one, and overall I think the vocalist is more expressive, giving us a lot more of the shrieking and whatnot that adds to the flavor and the insanity of this kind of witching metal vibe. So we get all those pieces, but it really is the riffs and the thrash metal songwriting that carries this record. I think when riffs direct a song, it really works best in thrash. That's kind of an obvious thing, but they've pulled in some of those ideas I pointed out on Eastern Witchcraft and made songs that groove a little bit harder. They slow down and they have a tuneful aspect and not just a roll through a dirtier speed metal song. And that really does make a difference here on this record in terms of extending its length, making it more of an experience, and kind of having a high fantasy narrative going on in the background while they kind of rip through all these leads and whatnot. So it's a solid heavy metal record in general. It's a strong thrash metal record for fans of that kind of thing. It's not exactly full-on riff after riff all the time. It's not that kind of record. But overall, I felt like this was a solid throwback, or the right feeling of late 80s thrash metal that I'm always looking for, with a little bit of a dark side and a high level of creativity, considering how long they've been at it. So for me, this was a moderately high recommendation. The stakes are pretty high for this type of music, and this is a well above average release. I think it'll be memorable for all of its components and not just one song or whatever. So give that one some time to blossom in mind and enjoy it if you will. It released on March 28th. Again, that's a moderately high recommendation, and if you'd like more of my thoughts, go ahead and read my written review on the site.